All right, excellent afternoon to all those who are watching me across the state in Nigeria. There are quite a number of dramas that happen behind the cameras before we come live. But yeah, that's the spice of life. Justice is the foundation of a fair society where equality and fairness are given precedence over power and privilege, and the pursuit of justice has the power to transform lives and uplift communities across the world, and of course creating a rippling effect of positive change for the masses. Again, I say welcome to another interesting episode of Real Talk with Kike, and I remain your convener Kike Atanda-Owo. That hasn't changed. And moving quickly to on this day issue segment, because we are going to be having a lot of banter from different perspective of the topic at hand. Today, that was exactly 16 years ago, explosion, rocked an army barracks and a bridge and of course an air base in the northern Nigerian city of Kaduna. I think it's important for us to hear more on the video. Stay with me, we'll be right back.
This day in 2007, explosions rocked an army barracks, a bridge and an air base in the northern Nigerian city of Kaduna. The attacks were later claimed by a militant group known as the Nigerian Taliban, who were active in the region at the time. The group was known for its opposition to the Western education and its desire to establish an Islamic State in Nigeria. The attacks in Kaduna were part of a wider pattern of violence in northern Nigeria at the time, which was characterized by ethnic and religious tensions, as well as growing insurgency by Islamist extremist groups. The Nigerian government responded to the attack with a crackdown on the Nigerian Taliban and other militant groups, but the insurgency continued to be a major security concern in the region.
All right, many thanks for staying with us. It's just unfortunate that this occurred. It may seem that we have more of bad stories and negative news with our glorious moments on this initial segment or section. But, in years to come, I keep asking people, let's remember that we need to put down a good legacy, because when it comes on this day history segment, we have seen how today, this month, exactly last month, many months passed, and of course, the story have been about false scarcity, the story have been about currency, and of course, scarcity commotion and hardship in the land in Nigeria, to be precise, and of course, all over the world as well. And I believe that this segment, was created to just try to remind people, to bring into consciousness that we need to put down a positive story for coming generation. We need to remember that we need to leave a good character, a good legacy, so that we will be remembered for it. But, let me use this opportunity to also commiserate with the people in Turkey. Quite as at today, about 4,000 plus people have died due to the earthquake that transpired yesterday, and my hearts are with the people of Turkey. I pray that they find solace in all of this. But quickly, let's go into a quick message from our sponsors. Please stay with us. I'll be right back. All right, many thanks for staying with us. To provide an unbiased perspective to public issues, and of course to give the people balanced deduction that remains the mandate of this platform, Real Talk with Kike. And last week, I had the pleasure of having Mr. Olawale Rasheed, the PDP representative, on the show to discuss the intricacies and, of course, the controversies of the Osun State governor, his sacking, and many other conversation at time was discussed last week. And going further, I felt that it is important for us this week, to be interviewing somebody from the APC cabinet, that should be representing them regarding the interview that transpired last week. And on the show today, I will be ripping, or will I say flipping, the coin to the other side to listen to the APC side of the story and to discuss recent development on the case as the Court of Appeal, goes further on. And today I have Mr. Ibrahim Lawal. It's a pleasure to have you on the platform via virtual lines. All right, while we're trying to reestablish connection and of course to try to fix all the audio challenges, let me quickly treat on the trending stories. And the first trending that caught my attention is that of Tems, that won Grammys a few days ago, and it has become a sensational news on social. And of course, Burna Boy losing and all of that. And I think it's important for us to quickly look at the wins, all the pictures and of course the videos that went viral on social media before I give my submission on this. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. This win, as far as I'm concerned, is not only for Tems. If you ask me, the winning is an international accolade for us all. And I wasn't surprised, to be honest, because she has built herself up for wins. She had the best international act and best collaboration at BET Awards last year. She has also sold the O2 Arena with the likes of, Whiskey and the likes, where she also featured in the No Woman No Cry of Black Panther 2. And now she's got the Grammys, for the melodic rap performance. And I must say congratulations to Tems, and more power to the elbow of Nigerians making us proud at the global stage. And, listening to all different reactions on Twitter and the like, I must say that, I say another congratulations for those as in a league, amidst all the great artists filled with male dominance in the music industry. I feel that when we have women like this, in a dominated industry, in a male-dominated industry, is for us to, loud it more. She's in the league with the likes of Shadia Adu and others, making African proud. I'm not yet to debate whether Shadia Adu was the first African or the first Nigerian that won the Grammys or not. And secondly, looking at it from the angle of Burna Boy, who got nominations and wasn't awarded. For me, there's no time for him to feel bad, no time for his fans to feel bad. He's still not only an African giant, but also a world giant. The fact that, as far as I'm concerned, being nominated alone is enough win, if you ask me. Thirdly is the fact that, my message is to the youth, because as far as I'm concerned, I just feel that the youth of today, everyone needs to understand that everyone has his or her own time, and it is only a matter of consistency, and the world will pay your hard work. Yes, I'm very sure of this. And remember that everyone has his or her time, because I just feel that I need to emphasize more on that, because in a world where we are in, where the youth of today just want to, blow, for lack of a better word, let me use their word now, their straight words, And thirdly is the fact, or fourthly is the fact that I feel that I have a message for Nigerian parents. Yes, what do I mean by that? When all of this happened, I was looking at it from different perspectives, and I kept on asking myself, what are the angles that we Nigerian parents can also learn from? I think that Nigerian parents need to understand that we don't have to be rigid. Yes, the world has changed. The world of today has changed. There is no reason to limit your children to your own perspective of career and all of that. There's no reason to narrow their career in one line of your own choice, thinking that that's the only way out. And the most important thing for me is the fact that I feel that we should evolve as the world evolves, because we need to guide them. We need to guide them to provide them with enabling environment. And whatever they choose or whatever potential that they have shown or they show. I think that it's important for us to try to look for how sufficient they can continue to grow in such career. And lastly, the fact that I feel that parents are also street jacketed, thinking that it is only about being a doctor or being an engineer or being a lawyer, and I feel that they see career choices as means to financial freedom. Yes, in as much as we parents want our children to be financially independent, to grow financially, and that's the reason why sometimes they tilt the children towards the likes of being an engineer or a lawyer or a doctor. I just feel that there's no means to such freedom or to fame or to success other than for we parents to, try to guard our children right. And if you look at the likes of Tems, if you look at the likes of Whiskey, Beyonce and all of that, you understand that Nigerian parents, this is my message for you, that we need to unlearn certain things on how we do things. I understand that the world that our children are in today, like they say, the Gen Zs are the ones that are actually controlling the all sort and all of that. So I wish Tems again a big congratulations. I wish her the very best as we continue to forge ahead and making us proud. I think quickly is the second trendy story that also caught my attention is that of the EFCC and will I say LCPC that recovered over 287 million of new Naira notes hidden in a bank vault. God, looking at this, this has trended for some days, and with all the crisis, the chaos and the decay in the country, only to point to the fact that we are the same as our leaders. Yes, and where am I coming from when I say we are the same as our leaders? It's because of the situation like this, only to make us know that our problems are not just leaders alone, but ourselves. The one who destroyed the banks, the houses, even his fellow man in the name of no petrol or no cash at the bank is also part of the problem. The bankers who withhold the new notes are also part of the problems. The cash racketeers, so to speak, and the POS merchandise, collecting and changing 2K for 10K, it doesn't really make sense. How can you be exchanging 2K for 10K withdrawals are also part of the problems. And the gas stations as well. I feel the gas station owners right now are also to be called out, and of course the managers exploiting the fuel crisis are also part of the problems that we are facing in this country. And the petrol attendants and the black market peddlers are also part of the challenges that we are facing right now. Everyone is just waiting for opportunity to to partake in the corruption the same way everybody is also condemning it. So what a shame on us is the message that I have for we Nigerians. Yes, and the fact that why are we now crying foul play? The government have done their own with poorly established policies. We shouldn't make it worse by destroying individuals and with corruption and the likes, that we want to use the opportunity to look for how we can, be strategic in how to dupe one another. We are also the architect of our problems right now, because when I look at all the issues at hand and how the fact that even me yesterday I wanted to get some cash, and the fact that I went to, I don't want to tell you people where I went to, but I was being told that for me to get 60,000 naira I have to pay 15,000 naira extra. So guys, let each and every one of us try to change for ourselves. It's just a shame that we have actually taken this opportunity to look for how to leverage on other people's leverage on the problems or the challenges that we have at. And I think that's all I have for this day industry segment. Let me go on a quick break to reconnect with my guests. Please stay with me. I'll be right back. All right, many thanks for staying with me. Mr. Ibrahim, are you there now? Can you hear me? All right, you can hear me. All right, let's just go straight to the topic at hand, because as a lawyer and the legal counsel of the APC, before I engage you on the basis of the points from the opposing party, what's your overall comment thus far on the ongoing crisis? Sir, can you hear me? Because your audio is actually muted. Can you unmute your audio, please? Can you unmute your audio? Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yes, I said the crisis that we have at hand is unfortunate and on both the leadership and the followership. The leaders who are insensitive to embark on this kind of program, however laudable they might think it is, they're not thinking it through and looking at what will be the implication on the generality of the people. Not also looking at even the infrastructure that we have for cashless economy and not looking at how we conduct our trade, that most of our trade are cash driven and stuff like that. To the extent that they embark on this and it has brought hardship to Nigerians, it's so unfortunate. Secondly, we followers too, those who are bankers, who are supposed to also help in ameliorating the suffering of Nigerians, holding the new Naira notes, the POS operators who sees this as an opportunity for them to make it big, to the extent that you now buy currency with currency, you buy money, 5,000, you buy with 2,000 Naira and stuff like that. And others of petrol who feel that the best way to make money is to make life uncomfortable for fellow citizens are all culpable in this. And like you said the other time, that it appears that all of us are the same. The leaders and the left, it appears we are the same. When we condemn leaders, maybe because we do not have opportunity of being at the ends of our career. Because the little opportunity we have now, we are also making, bad use of it. So it shows that if we want Nigeria to get better, we need attitudinal change, not only for the leaders, also for the followers. Because the wickedness transcends beyond being a leader. It's also inherent in almost all of us. Because I could not imagine, bankers that are saddled with the responsibility of disbursing money, refusing to disburse it, rather selling it to those that will hawk the Naira. It's so appalling, it's so unfortunate that we find ourselves in this kind of situation, that we find in our midst people who place no premium on human life, who had no regard, for people's rights, who had no regard even for empathy, So it's quite unfortunate. And the crises are clearly showing who we are as a people. It's clearly shown who we are and the kind of degeneracy that had, entered into our psyche as a Nigerian. Honestly, that's what the crisis has shown.
All right, many thanks for your submission right there, and of course trying to coin it with my trending regarding the situation that we found ourselves. Quickly, I really want to touch on the fact that former Governor Oyetola lost the Osun State governorship to Ademola Adeleke and the candidate of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) after the poll or the polling of 375,000 27 votes, while Adeleke of the PDP claimed over 400,000 votes, according to the results by the Independent National Electronic Commission, INEC. But later, it was admitted that the BVAS machine were hacked. In such cases, in such case rather, reference is made back to the former ECB or EC8 and the form EC8 as well was clearly abandoned. Was it credible to have abandoned such a substantial critical source before making judgment of that tribunal?
Well, I thank you very much. I think we should put it in perspective. If you look at the new Electoral Act 2022, you have what we call, in any election, you have what we call accreditation and voting. And what makes a voting credible is the number of accredited voters vis-a-vis the number of votes recorded. The essence of having a BVAS machine is to de-emphasize the use of manual accreditation. We have seen, our experience has shown in the past that what people do with manual accreditation is to allow people to vote and now tick the numbers as if those that have been accredited. There has been a lot of issues around it. And that was why our electoral system evolved and now said that the only means of accreditation now is an electronic device. If you look at Section 47(1) of the Electoral Act 2022, it said voters, for a person to vote, he has to be accredited by electronic voting machine, which is the only means of accreditation. It's only when you get accredited, that means that that machine will recognize your face or your thumb and mark it as accredited and record that accreditation before you can proceed to the next level of votes. So what Oyetola went to court to do was to challenge the accreditation, having written to the INEC and said, give me the reports of the accredited voters. And it was discovered in 744 polling units that accreditations are lesser than the actual votes. So the issue of petitioning for me said does not arise. For me said ACFA recorded votes scored by each of the candidates in each of the polling units. But it was discovered that what was recorded in Committee 8A as accredited voters is different from what was recorded electronically. And that was the issue. And the electronic accreditation is the authentic accreditation. Anybody can write anything on a paper. So if you when it was juxtaposed, so it is not correct to say that Tommy State was relegated to the background. If the court determined Tommy State, that means that beavers had no place in the electioneering process, because it should be what is contained in the beavers that should be in Tommy State. But what we discovered was that apart from the scores, the accreditation recorded on Tommy State was at variance with what was recorded by Beaver's machine at the server of INEC, which formed the basis upon which result was declared. Because Section 50 of the Electoral Act says that any polling unit where the number of accredited voters is more than the number of votes cast, that particular polling unit, the election there should be cancelled. That's the law. So it is not true that Committee was petition. But what is important by law, by Electoral Act now, is that Beaver's electronic accreditation is very important. It is key to credibility of any election that is going to be held in Nigeria, starting from the 2022, standard elections that we have. So anything contrary to it means that the election is not conducted in accordance with the law setting up, the conduct of the election. So it is not true.
Yeah, so I hear you. I don't want to touch on the issue of the forgery aspect of this story. Let me quickly come to you regarding the Supreme Court, because I remember vividly last week Thursday while I was on air with the with my guest, the Supreme Court on Thursday dismissed and appealed the People's Democratic Party (PDP) file to nullify the nomination and of course the participation of the former governor of Osun State, Mr. Oyetola, in the governorship election that held in the state on July 16, 2022. And Nigerians, and particularly the Osun people, are beginning to see this as I don't know the word to use now, maybe the need for justice or good governance, or I don't know. There are different perspectives to this. But what are other parties like SDP, AMPP, Labour Party, NMPP saying to this? Because I feel that, are they not in the tussle of all that is going on right now? Or were they not involved in the election? Why is it that it's just only your party that is actually on this?
Well, you see, the law is very clear. He said any candidate who is agreed, or any political party who is agreed with the result of election released by INEC has a right to approach the court or tribunal to ventilate their views. If you look at the result of that election, the two parties that seem to have performed very well in that election was PDP and APC. Others are just bystanders as far as I'm concerned. So APC that went to court. The other party did not go to court. Court is not a Father Christmas. Whatever you bring before the court is the issue the court will resolve. You also mentioned Supreme Court. In the first place, what PDP did was like, being a medicine with Alopa in the affairs of other political parties. You had your own primary election. You now went to court to challenge primary election conducted by APC. And unfortunately, the Federal High Court agreed with them when there was a clear case of Oyetola and INEC, which did the same thing against APC during Osun State election petition. And the Supreme Court said that you cannot do that. You have no jurisdiction to do that. But they still went to court. Unfortunately, the Federal High Court, agreed with them. We appealed to the Court of Appeal, and Court of Appeal said, no, you can't do it. It is within their right to choose whoever they desire to be their candidate. You are not affected by their own. You have done your own. Despite the fact that they are supposed to also take it to their own side, they went to Supreme Court to also appeal, which is within their right anyway, like we did in the election petition. So the thing about election jurisprudence is that it is provided by law that if you feel aggrieved, you can approach election petition. And let me tell you, one of the lessons we have learned about this Beavers thing is that, contrary to the claim of INEC that they have found solutions to electoral issues in Nigeria, that Beavers is the alpha and omega of our election processes in Nigeria. We have discovered that when Beavers is good for election, the operators must also be sincere with the operation of Beavers. What we have found out in Osun is that those who are given the function or the job of operating Beavers allow themselves to be used to bypass, accreditations by Beavers, and they think that a thing like this will not come out, and that was what has come out from this election petition in Osun. It also gives INEC opportunity to go back to the drawing board and ensure that they give a matching order to ad hoc staff that will handle Beavers matching, to stay true to the letter and spirit of the law, and ensure that they remain, unbiased umpire, regardless of whoever. They must remain unbiased umpire. If they do that, I can assure you that we will have no cause to doubt the integrity of INEC. INEC didn't play a good role of an unbiased umpire. The APC wrote INEC as they give us a report of accreditation done on July 16 in Osun. You gave us, you certified it, and you said it represented the position, the accreditation conducted on that day. Only for you, when they were served the petition, now came out with another report and call it a synchronized Beavers report. As if that is not enough, they also said there was the candidate, the PDP candidate, Adeleke also brought a report and said that after having checked the Beavers machine, these are the figures. The figures that INEC got and that of Adeleke's figures were not the same. So there are discrepancies, very many discrepancies in those figures. So it shows that all those figures after the filing of our petition were concocted to meet or to defend that case, regardless of it's supposed to be a partial, umpire. And that was what the tribunal found out. And the tribunal, in their finding of fact, says that INEC tampered with official documents. It was there in the judgment that was the finding of facts, that they tampered with official documents in order to ensure that they are justified for what they have done. So it was a lot of revelation, and it shows that INEC have a long way to go. Like I said to a lot of people, beavers had no problem. It is the operators of beavers that had issues, and that is not allowing people, to undergo, the process of accreditation through beavers, and thinking that they can use that and go scot-free. That's what happened. So if we stay true to the letter and spirit of the law of the Electoral Act, we won't have issues like that. Beavers, I can tell you, is a game changer if we are sincere, with its application. And INEC is ready to be an unbiased umpire. We won't have issues around beavers.
All right, I hear you, and thanks for those insights, that you just, put out there. But I must ask you, because I remember vividly when Governor Ademola Adeleke came into power, he was able to actually pay the salaries of the Osun State people. And I know that compared to your own principal that was paying half salaries, and I know that, the civil servants... Half salary?
Which principal? No.
Against the report of half salary that was paid by Governor Oyetola, that was the information that I got. But I must ask you, because I feel that
information is wrong.
I will allow you speak. I will allow you speak, sir. I will allow you speak.
Paid full salary throughout the 4 years. It was Aregbesola that paid half salary. It is not true. I know Oyetola paid salary on the
okay, so because I know that there were I know that there were issues of salaries and the likes, and I know that the civil servants in the state are well pleased right now, and it is good that
how do you determine that? Have you done the survey to know that the civil servants are pleased?
Yes,
the Oyetola has no issues with civil servants. I can tell you. You see, the thing is that let us do our own work very well. It doesn't matter who is in the saddle now. We are on there, and whatever we want to say, we must have our facts. Okay. It is not correct that Oyetola owes civil servants throughout his tenure, 4-year tenure in office. I am from Osun State myself. I have sisters and brothers who are civil servants. I know that before Oyetola came into the saddle, during Aregbesola's regime, at the second term of Aregbesola governorship, there was an issue around payment of half salary, which Oyetola stopped when he assumed mantle of leadership. Till he finished his term, he never owed any civil servant a dime. Go and fact check. It's very important so that we don't just fall with the and the same Oyetola left 14 billion in the coffers of the state when he was leaving. It is there in the record for anybody to see. So it will be wrong for anybody to say that civil servants are displeased with Oyetola. It's not true. And I stand to be contradicted. It's not true. There is nowhere. In fact, during the 4-year reign of Oyetola, there was no strike. Not even a single one. For 4 years, there was no strike. Go and fact check that. So we need to be circumspect when we lay this kind of allegations on the table. It is not Oyetola that owe any civil servant. No. In fact, it was when he left that the salary was delayed. When this present governor came in, he didn't pay salary on time. The salary was delayed, maybe for 2 weeks, 3 weeks before he paid. So it is not true. Oyetola paid to the people. Oyetola also ensured that those policies that people were not pleased with during Aregbesola's period were reversed. The issue of the same uniform merger of schools and stuff like that. He changed it, and that was why he had these people with Aregbesola at that time. So it is not correct to say that Oyetola ran a government that is not, pleased with civil servants. Civil servants didn't go on strike for 4 years that Oyetola was in the service. It is there in the public domain. You can Google it, you can fact check it. So it is not correct, to insinuate that during the time of Oyetola, the civil servant did not have it well. This is not true. Even during the time of Oyetola, promotions were done, recruitments were done, teachers were recruited, civil service, people were recruited into civil service. So it is not true that there are, issues.
Many thanks for your submission. Many thanks for your submission thus far. I must ask you, as a lawyer, what's your contribution on the ongoing crisis, national crisis right now, that's regarding fuel scarcity, regarding the national exchange of banks and all of that. As a lawyer, what will be your take regarding governments implementing these policies? What would you have, will you suggest regarding this?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, any policy that is geared towards compounding the sufferings of Nigerian masses should be, as far as I'm concerned, petition. The role of government is to bring happiness to the greater number of people, and that is, utilitarian, belief in governance. As far as I'm concerned, any policy that is geared toward, making life unbearable for an average Nigerian, such policy should be petitioned. I do not, in good conscience, support whatever policy. Maybe in its implementation, they need to, the essence of, reevaluating whatever policies we have put in place is to look at the success and the failure. Like this cash swap of a thing, the mode of, implementation is wobbled. It has created a lot of hardship than the intended, results it wishes to achieve. And I wrote even on my timeline today that anybody that is supporting this policy at this period is an enemy of Nigeria. Argument advanced. Some people said that it was because they want to curb vote buying. First, people die before the election comes. There are so many ways by which you can, curb vote buying. Not people not having access to their money that they will use to eat. I took an old man yesterday in my car. He was going along my way, and the man told me he took Gary, he sold Gary yesterday night because he could not, get money. It's not as if he does not have money. He had money in bank, but he could not have access to those monies. So he had to make do with what he will eat today. He does not even know. Is that a policy? As some persons are saying, it is for our election. Election that will come in February 25. How many dead bodies are we going to see before the election comes? And what is even the percentage of people that are collecting money to vote? How much is the money in circulation that people will collect? If you say that it is to curb vote buying, then you ask yourself, what is the percentage of voters in elections since 1999? The percentage of voters is slightly above 15% or 20%. And you want to punish, a high number of people because you want to hold the election. As far as I'm concerned, that policy has failed, and it is my own position that it should be petitioned. When they are ready to do cash over, they should come back. You can't do a policy and be experimenting with the lives of people. It's not right. It's not right. Things are hard ordinarily, and you are now bringing a policy that will make things harder for an average Nigerian. It is not right. You can't have money in the bank. Not that you are saying you don't have money. You can't have money and you don't have access to money. How do people feed? How do children go to school? How do you do domestic obligation? And some persons will tell me we need to endure because of vote buy. What is the meaning of that? What is the percentage of voters? Everybody that will vote A, B, C, or D. What is their percentage? In comparison to the numbers of people that are affected now. So as far as I'm concerned, it is a policy somersault. It is a policy that has not done anybody any good. And it is my view that such policies should be petitioned. And also the issue of fuel scarcity. It's so unfortunate that we have not, find solution to it up to today. It is unfortunate, and I don't think that Nigerians deserve this kind of punishment from any person. We should also not punish ourselves too, because we have also discovered that while we put blame at the doorstep of government, we should also blame ourselves too, because we are also wicked. That this is what we call man inhumanity to man. Even those who are selling petrol, some are selling at the official rate, others are selling at exorbitant price. Some are selling as much as 100 per liter. Some are selling 350, and they are getting petrol from the same source. So the problem is also ourselves too. We don't love ourselves. We don't even every problem we want to make opportunity out of it. It's so unfortunate that people have to resort to this. So any policy geared towards, suffering the masses is no policy, and it should be petitioned. That's my position about it.
All right, many thanks for your submission thus far. But I think before we wrap up, let me ask you this question. Should the APC lose to the appeal court, how would your party react, in terms of embracing the other party to sustain good governance and services to the people of Osun State? What's your take on this?
Well, the thing is that thank God the last bus stop is Supreme Court. When the matter gets to Supreme Court and Supreme Court gives the final verdict, the state belongs to each and every one of us. I expect whoever wins to also embrace the loser, and the loser to embrace the winner. So it is too early now to say, because we have 2 steps to go. Even if any party loses at the court of appeal, that's not the end. So we are still looking at the Supreme Court. So maybe after Supreme Court, we can begin to say this better. Like I said, the state belongs to all of us. Whoever is in the saddle all of us must join hands to ensure that our state does not collapse.
All right, many thanks for that submission. Of course, lending your voice to the challenges that we are being faced in all sectors regarding the petroleum industry, and of course the CBN policies that have affected all of us. And I must say thank you so much for coming on this show. It's been an interesting time with you, with all your submission thus far. It's unfortunate that I couldn't just get your old insight to trendies, but if I have a minute or two, if my technical director can allow me, I would like you to actually give your submission on Tems, that won the Grammy Awards. What's your take on this regarding the youth of today actually, placing us in a global stage positively, changing the narrative of Africa? What's your take on it thus far?
Well, let me congratulate them for getting the award. But like I said, our youth of today, we must also realize the fact that education is very important wherever you want to get to in life. I have read, a lot of things about our musicians. Most of them, you see them dropping out of school to face music as a career. You can run your music vis-a-vis, your education, because education is very, very important. It takes you far, so you can get educated and still do, your music aside. And the parents too must also encourage, the awards when when they discover that they have one or two talents, they must also allow them to develop those talents. While they insist that they get educated, they must also encourage them along those talents. The truth of the matter is that our youth are bringing us into a global economy, which is good for us, but we still need more of our youth to make more discovery in science, in law, in engineering. As they are doing music, we still want more of them to do more in other human endeavors, so that we can be a complete, society. Because without those ones, we'll just continue to complain. So it is good that Tems had also won the award. It should be a wake-up call to others too, to give the best wherever they find themselves, and be legitimate with whatever they are doing.
All right. Many thanks for that. I'm not sure you heard my own submission earlier where I was talking about channeling the energy on Nigerian parents, actually understanding that the world that they live in today does not actually supposed to just be about lawyer, engineers, and doctors. There are quite a number of skills that our children have today that we have to kind of guard them in how to channel it into positive thing. But well, that's your submission right there. And with that, we've come to the end of today's edition of Real Talk with Kike. And indeed, we had an awesome show. Courtesy you, our resourceful guest, Mr. Ibrahim Lawal. Many thanks again for coming on the show today. And I think this is where we draw the curtains of the show. Till I come your way on Thursday, remember to catch me live on Inspiration FM 92.3 tomorrow at 5 p.m. And be kind to one another. Put a smile on somebody's face regardless of all the queues that is going on in front of the ATM machines or banks. And of course, when it comes to, fuel scarcity as well. Anyways, Nigerians are very strong people. Bye now. See you on Thursday.